I'm coming from the crypto world and I'm seeing a stock, right, SoFi, that is not in any stretch a crypto stock. That's not what it is. However, it moved with crypto. One of the reasons why I recently bought, me and Tyler, we were together when I bought SoFi recently, and it's talked about a lot less in the SoFi community and the stock world, right? But I'm coming from the crypto world and I'm seeing a stock, right, SoFi, that is not in any stretch a crypto stock. That's not what it is. However, it moved with crypto. It went up and it went down with crypto. So therefore, in my opinion, there's a very obvious connection here, right? So something like the Clarity Act, something like the bottom of the crypto bear market, right, gives incredible opportunity for someone who's looking at stocks, especially if they want a high risk, high reward sort of play. And I think SoFi will benefit specifically from this, and it being down so much and maybe even going down a little bit more with the crypto bear market, with the fact that the stock itself is in a bear market. I think it's a great opportunity, and these sorts of catalysts are the ideal thing. So an investor like me, I'm looking for these stocks that are beaten down, right? And it's interesting because when you talk about SoFi on YouTube at the moment, you have like sort of these two opposing sort of avatars of people who are watching and investing or whatever. You have the one person who's done their research, they've looked into the company, they're either talking about things like I'm talking about because I'm interested in the crypto side, so I'm seeing that as like a great risk to reward when it comes to buying the SoFi stock. You see the people who are excited by this, but then you also see the people, just like in crypto, who bought the very top because the price went up, and now they're disenfranchised because the price went down, right? And this is the key to how you literally just destroy any opportunity for you to be the person that is in that K-shaped recovery we spoke about at the start, where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. You are literally putting yourself in the poorer gets poorer category by having that opinion, right? And I know that might be hard hitting for a lot of people, and it sucks because it's hard to hear, right? But you don't buy anything because price up, right? Never buy it because you hear someone talking about it. Never buy it because the price is up. Look at the fundamentals and, like a company for what it's doing. So to bring it all back, I like SoFi for what it's doing in crypto. It's not a crypto company, but it has the opportunity, like you said, Tyler, to benefit from something like the Clarity Act, which gives it an outsized risk to reward. So in an environment like this, where it's down 50, 55%, maybe even worse, instead of being disenfranchised, now ask yourself, am I in this? Did I buy this because the price went up, or did I buy it because I believe in the company, the underlying, thesis around it? And do I think that this could eventually be something that goes back up again, but I'm willing to ride that volatility? And that can be the same for SoFi. It can be the same for Meta, for Microsoft, and for Amazon, depending on where they are. Don't buy Amazon now, even though it's an incredible company, just because the price is up, because then you're going to end up being like, because on a day like today, Meta's actually up 0.05% as we speak, and Amazon is down 1.5%. Right. And you're going to go, why on earth do I even do any of this? I just keep winning. And, because that's what so many comments are. You don't worry, I just bought, so the price is going to go down. But because you're buying because the price is up. Right. So,
yeah. So I almost wonder, like, if it's don't, just primarily focus on something just because the price is up. If it's don't buy something just because the price is up, I guess you want to, like, would you consider the alternative of, is it a better time to start looking to accumulate on the things that people aren't really interested in right now, that they're not talking about right now? And if you go further down that rabbit hole, it's, one thing we've not talked about on this podcast within the last hour is any sort of altcoin. We've not talked about Ethereum. We've not talked about Solana. We've not talked about XRP, BNB. And the truth is, not a lot is happening. Not a lot is happening. But is that in itself a reason to pay more attention to them right now when no one else is paying attention to them, especially something like Ethereum that has so much institutional ties? I'm curious about that.
It's just so boring. Just so boring. And I don't my answer is so boring. Like, just take a little bit of your cash, right? If you want a little bit of risk, buy a little bit. And then when it goes down next week, don't whinge, don't moan. Just buy a bit more. Just shut up and buy a bit more. If you're not going to do that, then go and buy the S&P 500 and just shut up. It really is that simple, right? But I think right now, yes, now is the opportunity if you want to be the person who makes money from investing, right? I actually think it's a much better thing to be doing to
Mm.
figure out a business, make money from that business, and then just invest in slowly over long periods of time growing assets. Basically, just buy the S&P 500 and Bitcoin in whatever split you like, risk to reward being more less risky in the S&P 500, more risky being more in Bitcoin, and just leave it at that. But if you want to be like me, who's a degen, who's a nutcase, yes, I have made outsized gains from doing this, but it's stressful, right? And you can decimate yourself. You can lose everything. But right now is the moment where everyone's left, right? Right now is the moment where there's a 50-50 chance we go down again 50%. But right now in the moment, back in 2018 and 2022, which is where I deployed capital, right? Less so in 2018, but some, and then significantly more in 2022, and then significantly more this time round. This is where the huge outsized gains are made, but only if you can sustain the volatility. And also on the flip side of that, you understand that quite literally, if you're going to buy an altcoin, right, even Bitcoin, it can actually go to zero, right? So yes,
Yeah.
now's the time to pay attention to it if you're a degen like me.
Mm.